ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। श्रीमद्भागवतम Canto 1 Chapter 18 Maharaj Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. Text 42 Tad adyanah papamupaityanaन्वयम् यन्नष्टनाथस्य वसोर्विलुम्पकात् परस्परं घ्नन्ति शपन्ति भृञ्जते पशून् स्त्रियोऽर्थान् पुरुदस्य वो जनाः तद् अद्य नः पापमुपैत्यनन्वयम् यन्नष्टनाथस्य वसोर्विलुम्पकात् परस्परं घ्नन्ति शपन्ति वृञ्जते पशून् स्त्रियोऽर्थान् पुरुदस्य वो जनाः तद् अद्य नः पापमुपैत्यनन्वयम् यन्नष्टनाथस्य वसोर्विलुम्पकात् परस्परं घ्नन्ति शपन्ति वृञ्जते पशून् स्त्रियोऽर्थान् पुरुदस्य वो जनाः।
हरे कृष्ण। तदद्यनः पापमुपैत्यनन्वयम् यन्नस्तनाथस्य वसुर्विलुम्पकात् परस्परं घ्नन्ति सपन्ति भृञ्जते पशून् श्रेयोऽर्थान् पुरुरस्य भोजनाः।
Thank you. So we'll do word to word translation. Tat, for this reason, adya, from this day, naha, upon us, papam, reaction of sin, upaiti, will overtake, ananvayam, disruption, yat, because, nashta, abolished, nathasya, of the monarch, vasoho, of wealth, vilumpakat, being plundered, parasparam, between one another, gnanti, will kill, shapanti, will do harm, vrinjate, will steal, pashun, animals, striyaha, women, arthan, riches, puru, greatly, dasyavaha, thieves, janaha, the mass of people. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. I'll read the translation again. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. Purport. The word naha, we, is very significant in this verse. The sage rightly takes the responsibility of the Brahmanas as a community for killing monarchical government and thus giving an opportunity to the so-called democrats, who are generally plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. The so-called democrats capture the administrative machine without assuming responsibility for the prosperous condition of the citizens. Everyone captures the post for personal gratification, and thus, instead of one king, a number of irresponsible kings grow up to tax the citizens. It is foretold herein that in the absence of good monarchical government, everyone will be the cause of disturbance for others by plundering riches, animals, women, etc. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 18. Maharaj Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. So this verse is saying, due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these sins, we shall be responsible. So who's speaking here? We means this is,
Shamika Rishi?
yes, Shamika Rishi is speaking. Shamika Rishi is speaking to his son, Shringi. So Shringi, after he cursed Parikshit Maharaj, Shringi was playing with his friends when he heard the news that the Emperor Parikshit Maharaj became angry with Shringi's father for not showing hospitality, for not even giving him water or speaking to him. So Parikshit Maharaj got angry and he put a dead snake around the sage and he went away. When Shringi got this news, he became very angry and he started saying many harsh words about the Kshatriyas in general and Parikshit Maharaj in particular. What did he say? He said that these Kshatriyas, they are like crows or dogs, watchdogs at the doors of Brahmanas. They are living simply by the mercy of the Brahmanas, we Brahmanas. And being dogs, they have no right to come inside the house. On what authority is this king coming inside our house and asking for water? Dogs are meant to be at the door. And he said other things. Let me see what he said. He said, that after Lord Krishna departed from this world, there's no protector for us Brahmanas. Yes? After the departure of Lord Sri Krishna, who is the supreme ruler of everyone, these upstarts, right? These Kshatriyas, these upstarts have flourished because now our protector is gone. So the plunderers have taken over now. Like that, Shringi is saying. Therefore, now I am taking this matter into my hands and I am going to punish them. Look at my power, right? And then he, in front of his uh, friends, he uttered a curse against Parikshit Maharaj. And he said that on the seventh day from today, this king, Parikshit, he will be bitten by a snake bird and he will die. Why am I punishing him like this? Because of having broken the laws of etiquette. What is that etiquette? Being a Kshatriya, he went and insulted my father, right? Who's a Brahmana, who's a sage. So for breaking this etiquette, I am punishing him to die by the bite of a snake bird on the seventh day from today. After saying this, Shringi went home. And from the purport, we understand he was not happy after cursing. So, why he cursed like this? Coming under the influence of Kali Yuga. Coming under the influence of Kali Yuga. Kali had entered because he was a small boy. Kali had entered. By the influence of Kali Yuga, he uttered the curse. And then he felt bad. So, when he went back and he told his father what happened, first of all, he started crying. When he went, he saw his father with the dead snake around him. And he started crying loudly. And there Srila Prabhupada says he was crying loudly because he was hoping to be relieved from the sin that he committed by uttering a curse on Parikshit Maharaj. And hearing the cries of Shringi, Samik Rishi came out of trance and then he asked, "What happened? Did someone do something to you? Did someone say something to you? Why are you crying?" And then Shringi said everything that happened, how he cursed Parikshit Maharaj. When Samik Rishi heard that Parikshit Maharaj is going to die on the seventh day, Samik Rishi is a wise sage. He understood the exalted nature of Parikshit Maharaj. So when he heard this, he regretted. He said, "Alas, what a great sinful act was performed by my son. He has awarded such a heavy punishment for such an insignificant offense. He was hungry, he was tired, he was thirsty. And in that condition, out of frustration, he just put a dead snake on me. That was not a great offense. It is understandable. What he did was completely understandable. Such a severe punishment for such a small offense. And even that small offense, this punishment is not just to him actually, because he's a great sadhu. For him, really, it does not matter. Who is going to suffer from this in reality? The people, the society, dharma is going to be affected. That is the most important thing. That means because of because of Parikshit Maharaj, Kali was kept at bay. Although Parikshit Maharaj gave Kali some places to stay, he trained his citizens in such a way that nobody engaged in these activities: illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, meat eating, slaughtering. Nobody engaged in these activities. So therefore, although Kali had these places to stay, but practically they were not functioning. These places were not functioning. So therefore, Parikshit, So Kali could not stay. But now Kali could enter. So Krishna's government means dharma. Kali's entrance means adharma. So when Krishna was present, there was dharma on the earth. And what is dharma? Krishna said, Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. Varnashram Dharma. It is only in Varnashram Dharma, in a society of Varnashram Dharma, where you will find Dharma prospering, Dharma actually in place. But when Kali enters, what did Kali do? He's destroying Varnashram Dharma. So this is the beginning. This Shringi cursing Parikshit Maharaj is the beginning of the destruction of Varnashram Dharma. And what are the consequences of this? That is what we are going to read in this verse and in the following verses. What are the consequences of destroying Varnashram Dharma? First of all, who is responsible for this destruction? The sage is taking responsibility of this, not for himself alone, but for the entire Brahmana community. The Brahmana community is the leader of the society. They are supposed to guide the society according to the scriptural injunctions. So dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma is coming from God. And how Krishna is giving dharma? In the Shastras. Who studies the Shastras? Brahmanas study the Shastras. So based on what is given in the Shastras, the Brahmanas are supposed to guide the Kshatriyas. But if the Brahmanas themselves fall down from their duties, naturally everyone below them, the Kshatriyas will fall, then the Vaishyas, then the Shudras. So here we are specifically seeing about the Kshatriyas. So when there is no king, so in this case, what is the translation saying? Termination of the monarchical regime. So now there is no one king. The rule is Rajarshi. There should be a Rajarshi. Rajarshi means he's a Raja, but he's actually a saintly person, a devotee of the Lord. That is essential. Simply being a king is not sufficient. King is a representative of God. He should guide the citizens according to with this principle in the center, that everyone is a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nitya Das. Therefore, the king works towards bringing everyone to that platform gradually, wherever they may be. He is working, so there are duties prescribed for each person according to his nature. The king makes sure that everyone is doing his particular duty. If everyone is acting according to his nature, then gradually he will make progress. So this we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam also, that when someone does his varnashrama duties properly, what is the result of that? And what is the purpose of varnashrama duties? What is the success of varnashrama duties? Remember, what is the success of varnashrama duty? When someone performs varnashrama duty, how does he know that his work is successful? Samsiddhir haritoshanam, right? So when Hari is satisfied, then you know that your duty is successful. So when you do your duties with this, in this way, like by your duties the Lord is satisfied, then what is the natural result of that? The result of such varnashrama duty means Brahmana's duty, Kshatriya duty, Vaishya duty. When someone is doing his particular duty with the goal of satisfying Hari with my work, then the result is he develops Vasudeva Katharuchi. That will be the result. And Vasudeva Katharuchi means now you are entering into devotional service. That is the goal of Varnashram Dharma. By doing Varnashram Dharma, we should be. So, how do you know that you are actually doing your duty properly or not? By that duty, I should be developing my taste for hearing about Krishna. That will be the natural result. If that result is not happening by my work that I'm doing, that means this work is not right. So the king's responsibility is to see that the people are working like this, and by that work they're actually developing Vasudeva Katharuchi. This is the whole purpose of a monarch, a Rajarshi. Now if somebody moves this king, right, destroys this system, there is no head. Okay, what happens is, so in this case, when the Brahmana is, he's falling down from his position. So he's not guiding the Kshatriya properly. What is the result of that? The result is now the Kshatriya, because of not being, so we always have to be guided by the Shastra. Every person has to be guided by Shastra. Then he is on the path. If we are not guided by the Shastra, we become deviated, right? Now we get so many different, like we get different sources of knowledge. We take knowledge from my teacher or from the scientist or from the political leader. So many different people are giving knowledge. What is the source of their knowledge? Are they taken from scripture? No, they take from scientific research. What is scientific research? Scientific research means, first of all, you make some observation of some things, how things are working in nature between two objects. And then you study their relationship. Based on that, you form a law, right? So, for example, Newton, he saw apple falling down. And then why it is always falling down? Why it is not going up? That means there is some attraction in the earth. So, by observation, his pratyaksha, right, using his senses, by observation, he studied a phenomena, a relationship between things in this nature, and by observing it, a pattern, he sees a pattern in nature, he forms a rule. And based on that rule, now he will apply this rule in different situation, and then he'll come up with new knowledge. And that is passed on generation after generation. This is the law, this is knowledge. And now we have libraries filled with books in so many different fields. What is the source? Somebody's anumana. And we take this as fact, right? And this anumana, what is the what do you say, source for this anumana? Pratyaksha. Whatever he is perceiving with his senses, based on that he formed a rule, and now he's applying that rule to come up with new knowledge, and we are all accepting that as fact. But the problem is, when you depend on your senses, the senses have defects. Inherently, the senses have defects. What are the defects of the senses? You have Brahma, you have Pramada, you have Karanapatava. Brahma means illusion, right? You see something and then you think that you see baking soda. No, you see baking soda in the kitchen and you think it is salt. So in the sabji, now instead of salt, you're putting baking soda. So mistake has happened, right? Now you cannot say. This is the senses are prone to illusion and mistakes. You cannot change it. And also Karanapatava means it's limited, right? I can only see up to a certain limit. Beyond that, I cannot see. I can only hear up to a certain limit, right? So now any knowledge which I get, which is derived from these senses, how this knowledge can be perfect? And with this knowledge, I'm trying to understand God. Outside of this creation also, I'm trying to understand what's going on. And based on that, I create so many theories, and that becomes science, and everyone is supposed to follow that. So you see, Vedic Varnashram system or Vedic society means the center, the guiding force is Shastra. Shastra is not created by any human being. It's not written by any human being. Shastras, Vedas are eternal. Vedas are directly coming from the Supreme Lord. They are there. At the time of creation, they manifested. This is Dharma, and Dharma is given in that Shastra. Based on Dharma, on that Dharma, we have Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. When that is the guiding principle, then everything will function in order, the way things are supposed to act. But when that Shastra is not guiding the society anymore because of Brahmanas falling down, now the Kshatriyas have come into position. They have taken power. They don't have any Brahmanas guiding them. They think this is my father's property, right? They start exploiting. And also, there has to be training. Kshatriya means who? He is trained, first of all, by birth. He's coming from a particular dynasty. That means his fathers are trained, they have that culture. So he'll come with those samskaras, first of all. And then he's given proper training to rule. To rule, again, with those principles, keeping the benefit of the prosperity of the citizens in mind. What is real prosperity? They have to be lifted to God consciousness. With this, the Kshatriya king will rule. But when that Kshatriya king is not guided by the Brahmanas, because of not having um, that knowledge, that training, now he has this big position and so much wealth, and naturally conditioned mind is thinking of sense gratification, right? Dharma, artha, kama. Let me enjoy. Why? Because there's no proper guidance. So Kshatriyas are falling down. Now what happens after this? Now the Kshatriyas are becoming exploitative. What is the result of this? The Vaishyas and the Shudras, the general people, they will think they were obedient before, because uh, there's a common thing in everyone. Everyone is following the Lord. So they are obedient to the superiors because they're guiding properly. If as superiors, if we don't set example, how do you expect the subordinates to bow down before you? When we become exploitative, how the subordinates, they will start rebelling. How long will they be obedient? So now they'll start revolting. And then eventually they will kick the kings out. So the monarchy is abolished. We don't want monarchy anymore. And then they tried other things, aristocracy. A group of noble people will come in place and then they will rule. That is also okay, provided the guiding principle is again Shastra. Everyone should try to worship, come to the point of, everyone should be raised to the level of being a servant of the Supreme Lord. But when that is forgotten, even that aristocracy also becomes exploitative. Once again, there will be two groups, right? One's the exploited ones who are fighting, rebelling against, and then there is the ruling class, and there's fight, two groups in society. That is also abolished. It's not working. And finally, we came to democracy. Democracy, we are expecting everyone, or you can even call it democracy or communism. Everyone is equal. Everyone will respect each other. Huh? And nobody will exploit another person. Liberal, right? We are all liberal. But what is the whole purpose of this system? So that everyone will live peacefully and happily. Is that what is happening in the society today? Is everyone living very peacefully and happily? On the contrary, what is happening is there is no Raja, there's no king. Everyone becomes Raja. Everyone starts plundering. And you don't have to worry about any authority above you, right? This is the government by the people, for the people, of the people. So everyone is a ruler. There's no head here. Anyone can do whatever they want. So practically also we will see, I was listening to a lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So Maharaj says that this lecture was given in the year 2019. So Maharaj said about 2 or 3 years before that, in Africa, he said that um, after getting independence, now they were saying, we don't want punishment. They didn't want. So they removed that. Strict punishment was removed. And the result of that is, practically in the city of Johannesburg, every half an hour, one car is hijacked. And not just hijacked. Hijack means they take away the car, they shoot the driver, they kill the driver and take the car. Every half an hour, one car is hijacked. And Maharaj said another another. So this is the result of getting freedom, right? After we become independent, we become free, and then the idea is after independence we are going to be happy. Are we actually happy? That is the point. And then Maharaj said, another congregation devotee's daughter, she was a nurse in one city, Port Elizabeth. And one morning, before going to work, she was getting ready, and one person comes to her room, rapes her, and then ties her up to the bed and lights the bed on fire and kills her. And then he runs away. And the police caught this person, and he was released on bail. That very day, he was released on bail by paying 100 rands, Maharaj said. So that is equivalent to 6,000 rupees. That means you can do such a serious crime and get away with it for less than $100, and you're free. When there is a monarch, can you expect something like this to happen? No. That means when there is crime, there must be severe punishment. Then out of fear of punishment, there won't be crime. There should be that fear of authority. When that is absent, then all plunderers and rogues and thieves, they become free to act in whichever way they like. Also, Maharaj was pointing out about there is a great cry that capital punishment should be established again. Now, capital punishment is not there, very rarely. Even when you commit murder, even when someone commits murder, the punishment for that is not capital punishment. Like that murderer is not killed, right? He's not killed unless it's very, very severe. But Manu Samhita says when you kill someone, and when you kill someone means not just a human being. Even if you kill a cow or you kill an animal, still the punishment for that person is he should be killed by the king out of compassion. Because when he is killed, he is saved from going to hell. Where is that understanding today? People kill, they murder, and they become free. They may get, at most maybe, I think for 20 years or something, you're in the prison and that's it. But is that person saved? In his next life, he has to go to hell and suffer. So is this government actually helping the people progress or sending them to hell? So when this material creation was made, Krishna had a plan. He gave us this yagya. He sent the demigods, he sent the human beings and animals, everyone, and then he gave yagya. He said, you perform this yagya, by this you will be making progress. You will be making progress. But where is yagya today? It's destroyed, no yagya. The government positions are taken by people who have no idea of what is yagya, who is God, right? So in this situation, how can we expect any happiness? So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that the purport, the sage rightly takes the responsibility of the Brahmanas as a community for killing monarchical government and thus giving an opportunity to the so-called democrats who are generally plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. They are plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. And what are the Democrats doing? So-called Democrats, they capture administrative machine without assuming responsibility for the prosperous condition of the citizens. They are not concerned about the prosperous condition of the citizens, how the citizens will progress. Their only concern is, let me get this position and I will enjoy this position. But even that person who is trying to enjoy, he is also in illusion. He is not guided properly. He is also going to hell. And the people that he's ruling, he's sending them also to hell. Whose fault is this? The Brahmanas are not guiding them properly. Unless the Brahmanas guide them, how the rest of the society? That's why the Brahmanas are the head. So the situation is in a very topsy-turvy, the situation of the society is in a very precarious condition now because of not being guided by Shastra, because of not being guided by the Brahmanas. Another story Maharaj said, this is written by one English journalist. He was once visiting Afghanistan, and his friend was his guide who was taking him around in Afghanistan. And while they were going around, this person said, punishment is very severe in Afghanistan. Punishment for crime is very severe, especially for stealing. If anyone steals in this country, his right hand is cut off. So this journalist said, oh, that's very cruel. My God, just for stealing, you cut off his right hand. That's very cruel. So even in the Middle East countries, Maharaj said, they eat with the right hand. The left hand is meant for dirty work. So if your right hand is cut off, it's great embarrassment that you don't have a right hand. That means you have to eat with your left hand and do all, other whatever you have to do with left hand. It's not a good situation to be in at all. So that is the punishment. So then when this person said, oh, this is so bad, this is so cruel, such severe punishment, then this guide said, you have been in our country for these few days, you have visited different places. Have you ever seen any man without a right hand? And this English journalist thought and he said, no, I haven't seen anyone without a right hand. Everyone has both hands. That means nobody is stealing. Because there is such severe punishment, people don't commit crime. So if you don't want crime, you must actually impose a severe punishment so that they don't commit crime. Rather, if you say it's okay, let's be, what do you say? Let's be liberal, right? We should be compassionate, minimize the punishment. Then everyone will start committing punishment. I mean, everyone will start committing crime because there's no punishment. There's very little punishment. So, like this, the result will be today's society where, this is another important point is it is foretold herein. This is not happening at that time. But Shamika Rishi is seeing the future. He's seeing today. Whatever is happening today, he was seeing 5,000 years ago. How he's able to see, this is also the qualification of the exalted position of sages. They are Trikalagyas, they're able to see past, present, and future. Ordinary people, they can only see present. That too, not everything, limited present we can see. So Shamik Rishi is seeing and he is foretelling that in the absence of a good monarchical government, everyone will be the cause of disturbance for others by plundering riches, animals, women, like this. So this is just the first verse. The next few verses will talk about what are the consequences, what happens in the absence of a good king. King means, obviously, it has to be a leader. In elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada says that, when Parashuram, he killed all the Kshatriyas, 9th canto, 15 chapter, 15th verse, that Srila Prabhupada says that, so the people being exploited by the king, so generally, like we see in the case of Vena also, if the king is exploitative, then the Brahmanas take action. They remove that king and they put another king in place. So Parashuram also killed the kings because, they were exploitative at that time. But if the Shudras and Vaishyas, they take things into their hands, what will happen? Because first there is no Brahmana, right? The Brahmanas became corrupted. That's why the kings became corrupted in this case. So then there's no father, mother, there's nobody, right? No guardian. So now, and they're getting exploited. What did they do? They're seeing that this king is in the mode of ignorance. Let's remove this king. They remove that king. And instead, they put, by democracy, they voted and they put another person in the position of the king. But the person that they put in the place of a king, his qualities are worse than the king that was there before. At least that king had some kind of training and now he's exploiting. But this people, he's by his nature, he's a Shudra or he's a Vaishya. Such a person you put in the position of a king. How do you expect him to rule? So therefore in Kali Yuga, Prabhupada is saying that they will all be rogues and plunderers. We cannot expect. And this is said in Srimad Bhagavatam verse also, 12th canto, the symptoms of Kali Yuga. One of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is rogues, thieves, and plunderers will occupy posts as kings. And then they will exploit. And the people will be so harassed by such government, by their taxation, so on and so forth, that they cannot even live at home because you cannot maintain your family. So becoming completely frustrated, they leave home and they go to the forest. This is what is going to happen in Kali Yuga. So those were some points. I think I can stop there. Would you like to add anything, Shavgari Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, very wonderful class. Thank you so much. Yeah, when Samik Rishi was saying like we, he said we instead of, that was Sringi who did everything. But Samik Rishi said he took responsibility. He was like we, that was a little touchy part. If you want to
And actually when he said we, he didn't mean just me and my son. He meant the entire Brahmana community. So that's also important. Yeah, very nice point. Because it's not that generally we say, I didn't do it, he did it, so I'm fine. No, even if one Brahmana did it, that's the fault of the whole Brahmana community. So we can also take it like that as devotees, right? One devotee does something that reflects the whole society of ISKCON, right? Because we are representing the society of ISKCON. So when one person does something wrong, people may not know this person by the name. They see from our tilak, from our dressing and everything, this is ISKCON devotee. And when that person does, they say, ISKCON devotee did like this, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's very important. So Shamik Rishi is telling us that, yeah, even though it was, and it was a child, by the way, but it was such a grave, uh, you know, grave act which would be the cause of so much degradation that's coming in the future. So it cannot be blamed just on one person. This is the responsibility of the whole society, like that. The Rishi say.
Yeah, very, actually very dangerous when we think in that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I am representing the whole ISKCON.
Isn't it? Yeah, really.
Yeah,
That's
yesterday.
why, yeah, we have to be very, very careful in how we conduct ourselves.
Yeah, very true. Yesterday's class also, Kalpesh Prabhu was saying, he mentioned this verse like yat yat apsarit shrestha, like
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though we're not king, like, but we're king in a way, like for a small family or.
That's true, actually. That's right. Yeah, I was also looking at that from that angle, that, you know, we may not be the king of the whole planet or even a whole city, but we are leaders on different levels, or even for the temple, right? There are different leaders, or for the society, there are leaders. So these principles, wherever you see exploitation, it means we are moving away from dharma. We are being, coming under the grips of the modes. So once again, we have to bring Krishna into the center and understand our position, no matter what post we may hold. I may be the head of the family. I may be the head of a, temple, or the head of a company, whatever. That's just temporary position. My real position is I'm a servant of Krishna. And even the people who are under me, they're also servants of Krishna. As soon as I think that I have this privilege, I am superior, that itself means I have become victim.
True.
So yeah, we have to always be conscious. Like, we don't know, but you never know who's observing you and following you in your footsteps, So we set the wrong example, we become the cause of destroying so many lives. Scary, actually.
Very scary, yeah.
Especially when we sit here and we speak, it's like you never know. That's why we offer prayers in the beginning, that may the right things come out of my mouth, which will help others and myself to go on the right path and not get deviated.
Yeah.
So Madhava and yes, Mataji,
That's true. Yeah, Madhava and Rasapriya, they're very quiet. They're there.
you want to say something? No. Okay.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, when we say, like, like we are like maybe head of like 2 person or head of a family, like we are doing something. And when we think about like whole society or something, like how can we help like humanity or all those things? Like, can we just say that we take care of ourselves, be Krishna conscious, and that's it? Like, don't worry about others?
No, it's not that we don't worry about others, but we have limitation.
Yeah.
So depending on our capacity, Krishna gives us more and more responsibility. So whichever position we are in, wherever we have our influence, to that extent we must take care of the situation. So if I'm a brahmacharini living in the temple and I am subordinate, then there's only so much that I can do. Now when I'm living at home and I have a family and I have children, then at least that much I should do. It's not just about I'm practicing mine, let them go to hell. I cannot say that, right? I have to take care of whatever Krishna has given me, that much I must take care. And things which are beyond me, right? I have outside that, there's nothing I'm able to do there. So then I can offer prayer. Where I'm not able to do anything, I can offer prayer. So, but it is seen those who have those qualities of leadership and who are actually able to do, Krishna gives them more and more, right? Soon, before you know, you have so many people that are actually looking up to you. Then you have to take care. As Krishna sends, we have to take care. And we have to, and things where we are not able to change, we learn a lesson from the mistakes of others, you know, what things are going wrong and how the leader has not been able to take care of that situation. If I were in that situation, I should not make that mistake. Or that situation can come to me in my little, area also, and how we learn lessons from mistakes of others. So change things which you can, and things that you cannot change, then what can we do? Like that. But it doesn't mean that we don't care. It doesn't mean we don't care. But we also understand our limitation. We are tiny, tiny, small jivatmas, right? Our capacities. So we just do the best we can, like that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very nice. I thought I felt privileged today, actually, to be like with you only.
I am also very privileged. We get one-on-one. So we'll end the class here, Mataji.
Yeah, if Madhav and Rasapriya, they don't have anything,
Actually, they're quiet. Do you want to say something?
I'll
No.
be behind you. Okay.
End the class here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Bhakti Vrind ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thanks.